And we are back at Hallett Motor Racing Circuit. We have been through 13 races. We've got one more to go. How you doing, Lefty?
I am doing good. Last race, but is it going to be over soon? This is too soon. This has been so much fun calling these races, but you and I both have a shared love, and that is for, as Jimi Hendrix would say, butterflies and zebras, moonbeams and fairy tales. It's all about Little Wing.
Oh, wow. Dropping some old school Hendrix on us. I love it. And I'm looking for my Group 7 grid, and I can't seem to find it. Hold on. I'll go back and do it the old way. Maybe I won't. Anyway, I know Paul Rivera's is fast. He's going to be our pole sitter. Broch Evans will start second, it looks like. Steven Zerga is your second row with Jack Donnellan in the P2 car. Then you've got Moses Smith, Ashland Speed. That should be row 3. Justin Upchurch and Gray Fowler will be row 4, I should say. And then you've got Brad Yake and Mark McGahee. I'm trying to remember, is this going to be a split start, Larry?
I don't believe we did one yesterday. It looks like we're all just fully intermixed here. Okay. One big happy family.
One big happy family. All right, that's like Sly and the Family Stone or something, right? If you want to
It kind of is. All the music references here for this one. But this is going to be fun because as we saw yesterday, Rivera's is one of those, he started out just
There's a
fast
second
enough.
pace car.
Oh, there is.
Yep, I think so. Or is that just shiny blinky stuff with the lights and
it might just be shiny.
Yeah, I think it might have been just reflection. It looked like I saw flashing lights, so I've been wrong.
Well, Rivera's is fast, but he does take an extra lap or two to get to pace. Broch Evans has been lightning around this place. Won the FX group yesterday, was quick, really quick in the qualifying session again this morning. Let's see if he can mix it up with Rivera's for at least a lap or two.
Well, we got a lot of stragglers here, but they'll look good for the first 6 rows coming out from under the bridge, and they will get a green flag here. And all of these cars are going to go through. It does look like, though, jumping out to a quick lead is going to be Paul Rivera's. He's going to get a clean shot. Now we're 3 wide trying to get through turn 1. At least one car has gone off, and that car is going to get into the tire wall. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm not sure which that was. One of the FX entries in a classic Formula Mazda looks like got touched in the back going in through 1 and then went off. We'll see who that is in just a few minutes. But up at the front, Zerga in the FP2 was also making a push. Donnellan was maybe taking his time in his P2, but all that leads to Rivera's pulling ahead of Broch Evans, pulling ahead of, I'm not sure who that is in third. It might be Moses Smith in the other FA.
Yeah, that Formula Mazda that went in the wall there those are pretty stout up front, but if you get stuck on the tires, that's done deal there. So we'll wait to see whether or not they got through it as they come by the next time. Here they come through turn 6 and heading now towards the 7 and then 8 and 9 complex. And here they come here through 8 and 9. Paul Rivera's already opened up about a 10 car length lead over Broch Evans. And that second place car there, I believe, is Steve Zerga.
I think it's Moses Smith in FA. I think Zerga is in the blue FE2. Okay. He's actually lost a couple of spots. It looked for a minute as they took the green, like he had a shot of going to second. He's gone back a little bit. I'm not sure who the FXs are in between. As the timing ticker comes up, we'll get an idea here. It looks like Ashland Speed and Yake now 4th and 5th, pushing Zerga back down to 6th.
And as we can see, that car is still there. There's a corner worker with it, and they are making the signals. They're going to need a wrecker at some point. The question I'm trying to find out is if they're going to send that wrecker now or if they're going to wait until the end of the race.
We'll keep our eye on that. That just means that be a little cautious down there into 1, which is a fast entry corner. But obviously the flags are waving. Everybody has seen that one already, so they know it's there. We'll wait until that gets clear. But it means the rest of the track is open. Also what's open is the lead that Rivera's now has on Broch Evans. But behind Broch Evans is Moses Smith and his Formula Atlantic. And so that'll be interesting. Again, so you get an Atlantic FX, which is a Formula Mazda in this case, with another Atlantic behind. It just shows you how fast Broch Evans is around this place. Ashland Speed, and then I think Brad Yake currently 3rd in FX, 5th in the running order, and then you got your FE2 leader, Zerga, currently ahead of Upchurch. So Steve Zerga leading Justin Upchurch Those two just a couple tenths apart. First and second FE2, 6th and 7th on the track.
So I've been checking out here just for a second, listening to the corner crews talking about that car at turn 1. Sounds like they're going to leave it. The driver is safe and out of the car, and it looks like they're going to leave it there till the end of the race. So we're going to stay all green here.
All right. Got to keep an eye also at Donnell in our P2 entry. It's the odd-looking car considering it doesn't have the open wheel and the wings a little bit more closed. He'll be getting up to speed momentarily and start picking his way through. He's right behind. There he is right now, in between a bunch of FE2s, with Zerga up, Church in front of him, and Fowler behind him. Donnellan's going to probably want to get past both of the two in front and then start making his way up to the FX field. There is P2. He's got the power to do it. He's just got to pick a spot to not interrupt too much the FE2 battle he's about to go through. He hasn't quite turned on the afterburners yet. Back in the pack, though, I'm trying to see who that is. This is an FE2 Hillenberg, maybe battling it out with Crabtree, Vivian, Fouch. That whole group right there still sorting things out in between FX and FE2.
All right, we are looking. So we had heard that Crabtree was in the 24 car, made a spin and got back on the track.
Interesting. All right. Well, he's still shown in 11th overall in his FA car, just ahead of Hillenberg in an FE2, which that puts Hillenberg 4th in FE2. Fowler a couple spots up in the rank here is 3rd in FE2, with the Upchurch Zerga leading 1-2 in FE2. They're still nose to tail with the P2 car, Donnellan, behind them. But I think they've got a little bit of a gap, but Donnellan's starting to pick up the pace and start to catch those FE2s.
Yeah, and we are going to be going full course yellow here, Lefty. They've decided that they do not want to leave that car right there, and they're going to go out and send out a wrecker to pluck it out of that situation. They just feel it's just a little too much in an impact zone, so they're going to come and get it, and hopefully it shouldn't take too long. Formula cars are usually pretty easy to pick up, so. All right, lights are out on the pace car, which means we're going to go green next time by with Rivera's, Evans, Smith, and Speed, your front four here. And we're going to end up with 19 laps to go when they take the green flag again.
And I'm really going to be looking for Donnellan with that extra power over the FE2s to try and make a push to get by them on this first couple of straightaways. Keep your eye on that, as well as Moses Smith, the third one in the shot.
All right, I hear the cars with the foot on the skinny pedal. Already a big gap between second and third place here as they head down towards turn 1. That is just, I don't know why that gap happened so fast there, but you've got Rivera's and Evans jumping out to a quick lead here with Smith and National Speed now trying to make up some space.
Yeah, Moses Smith dropped back a bunch. I'm wondering if he was in the wrong gear as the battle of FE2 is going on there at Donnellan. Kind of watching what's going on there in his P2 car right in the middle of all three of those FE2s. Right. But yeah, I think Moses Smith may have been in the wrong gear coming off a 10 or something, because he really lost sight of Evans in front of him enough to where he let the other FX's Speed and Yake get around him. So Moses, I think, if I got this right, he's at least in between them. Yeah, he's in that 4th position now, right. Just ahead of Brad Yake.
And Evans is in, I'm sorry, Smith is in a Formula Atlantic car, so he should be one of the faster cars out here as far as power. And that's all you really need to get to turn 1 first, is a bunch of power and a bunch of fuel, and it didn't happen.
That's what makes me wonder if he may have been in the wrong gear coming off that corner and realized it at the last second, had to pop it down, lost all the momentum and negating any power advantage he might have had. Now, what's going on behind him is there's a shot of Donnellan, is I believe the FE2 cars are now 1, 2, 3, Upchurch, Zerga, and Fowler. Let's see if they are across the timing stripe next time through.
Here they come by again. These are our fastest cars of the weekend, so they're going to make short work of this 19 laps as long as we don't have any more full course yellows. And yes, we see Moses has gone down. National Speed has made her way around Moses Smith, so she's now into 2nd place and trying to put her sights on Broch Evans, who's got a 3.5 second lead. over speed at the moment.
The other thing that Moses may have been trying to do is to give an opportunity for Ashland to get around, because he knows all those FX drivers, as they're all in these Formula Mazdas, that he obviously is one of the biggest builders around for them. He may have thought, you know what, let's let Ashland get up there with Broch and do what she needs to do and kind of stay out of it. That might be how he's managing this race. It's interesting with Moses. It should be a lot faster, but I think he's just playing the game here to let them go play. And at some point, if Brad Yake gets up behind them, he may even let Brad by as well.
Yeah, I don't know that Ashley got the message, though, because if that were the case, she should have popped out and been as close to Broch Evans as possible. Whatever the case is, she's now trying to get caught up there to the back of Broch Evans and make a run for it. And of course, Evans and Rivera's aren't racing each other. Rivera's is in Formula Atlantic, so it doesn't matter if he pulls away, which he has, to a 3.59 second lead. And it looks like Ashland Speed has made up just a little bit of time on Broch Evans, but it's still about 3 seconds between those two cars.
It is. They're both in the 15s already. That's just showing you how fast both of those drivers are. To be down in the 15s at the basically second lap or first full flyer after a full course yellow. So great job with them. We're going to keep an eye on their gap. Moses Smith still slotted in between Ashland Speed and Brad Yake. About 2 seconds between them. But I'm also watching now those 3 FE2 cars that are lined up nose to tail. We got Zerba, Upchurch, and Fowler running 6, 7, 8 in the field, but they're 1, 2, 3 and FE2 having their own great little race. And there they are, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere. It's funny, there's different classes, but they all look a lot alike when they're coming at you at 40 or 50 or 90 miles an hour. The only one that I know for certain is the P2 car at Donald. I know that one without even having to think about it.
Yeah. I've been able to call a couple of these different classes at the runoffs, and I'm starting to be able to kind of pick them out. You see the high nose of the FP2s, the low nose of the single, really taller cars. Those are your Formula Mazdas now in FX. And then, of course, you got sometimes the high, sometimes the low nose of the Atlantics, depending on which generation they are. But they're going to be much wider cars, probably the widest thing out here, other than maybe the P2. So you kind of look for those widths. That's my own piece. Anybody watching probably trying to figure out, wait, was that an Atlantic or was that an FX?
Yeah.
FXs are narrow and tall. Atlantics are a little lower and wider.
Well, and yeah, they definitely have their own stature, those FX cars. And it's interesting that they're here because the Formula Mazda was pretty much extinct until SCCA brought this FX class back. There were a couple of them. You see them smattering across the country. A guy would come out and have fun with it every weekend. But now there's a legit place for these cars to come, and it's been really fun to kind of see this car revitalized.
Yeah. Oh, there's a big spin at the back of the exit of 6.
That car was smoking before it spun, I believe.
Oh, that's the 15 and FE2. That's Zerga. He was, I believe, your leader in FE2. Now he's off. True. Car's moving, but
maybe that was brake smoke.
The director just said if you look just at the entrance of 6, the car coming into the grass. I'm not sure who that is, but we've got a second car involved in all of this. Now back on track, coming through 6. That's one of our Formula Mazdas in FX.
Well, that was a definite schmozzle there.
And that might have been Speed, actually. That might have been Ashland Speed, the other car.
She's running down through the field, too.
Oh, wow. A lot of action right there between them. Mm-hmm.
So that moves Brad Yake into second place in FX. It also puts Justin Upchurch into first place in FE2, so he has assumed the lead. Gray Fowler is in third place in FE2, and that moves Roy Hillenberg into a podium spot, all the way down in 11th place overall. He's now in third place in FE2. So one little incident, and everything gets shaken up here.
Yeah, how quick that just went there for Ashland, as well as the former leader there in FE2, Zerga. So they're back on track. We'll see if there's anything. I'm not sure if there was contact between them or what. By the time we caught it, they were all kind of spinning off in their general directions. But we'll see how that goes. What hasn't changed yet is Rivera's out in front. Evans still in second. Moses Smith now up to third overall in the running order. And then you mentioned Brad Yake now into fourth in the running order, second in FX.
15 laps to go here, and no more cars to call in the grid because this is our final race of the weekend. Up next for us on the Super Tour is 2 weeks from this weekend. Lefty and I will be doing our thing again from Thunder Hill in beautiful Northern California. So that should be fun as well. We hope you all join us there. If you're enjoying this weekend, subscribe, bang the like button, and I think I messed that one up somehow. Hit the bell too, so you
Smash
the like button. Bang it too. I don't care. Bang your drum, smash the like button. I don't care how you do it. Whatever you do, though, press it, so you can find out more about what we do here on our Super Tour. 15 to go, Lefty, and Paul Riveras is getting to the point where he can start going into cruise mode, right?
He kind of can. I'm sure he won't. Because yesterday's race, we kind of thought that, and then he ended up setting fastest lap of the race as he took the checkered flag. So maybe he wants to get into that same sort of rhythm here and see if he can get down in the 12s like he was able to do yesterday. Now, you were talking about the revival here of FX being where the Formula Mazdas ended up, and suddenly they're all coming out to run. Also in FX are the different engines that the Formula Continental chassis can run, rather than the old Z-Techs. They can throw a Mazda in there. They can run those in FX, or I think they can run the FC trim with like a, I don't know if it's a restrictor or if it's even a change, but maybe it's a spec tire they have to run there in those classes. So great way to bring them in, as well as there's a few other cars. The next generation Formula Mazdas, those Pro Mazdas, Star Mazdas, whatever they were, the later ones, I forget what they were called now, they're also in that group, as well as some other, one-off low horsepower Formula cars. They all come together. In fact, we had a couple of those at Indy runoffs 2 years ago. Big classes there, big class of VIR. Last year, a lot of different things mixed in. Very cool to see an opportunity to run these different chassis under one competition, and they race pretty well.
Yeah, and I also think the USF 2000 cars, maybe an older version of those cars might be part of that system as well. So, yeah, a real push to be able to bring a lot of other potential chassis into what we do here, and that's made for some really fun racing here in these Wings and Things races so far this year. Nice big fields.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I do love these types of cars and classes. I think that they're just some of the most fun. I love a bit of downforce. I love the way these things drive. When I do my sim racing, I always prefer open wheel cars, a little bit of wing on them, because I love that harsh turn in, hold the downforce, carry it through the corner. I love that feeling, and I think sometimes they race well, especially if you can catch a little draft off the back of somebody and really pull down the straightaways. I think it makes for a lot of fun. And there's a good little battle going on with an FX sort of in between a couple FE2s.
Yeah, I think that's the Justin Upchurch Gray Fowler battle. There were 0.4 of a second difference between Upchurch and Fowler, and I think that might be Scott Fouch.
I think so.
As part of that as well. It could be Brad Yake, the second place car in FX. One of those two. And actually, there's 4 cars there.
I think it's all the above.
Yep. And Donnellan is right there behind in the Lola, just watching the whole thing. He's probably got the best place in the whole house to watch that battle.
Oh, he's opened up a bag of chips there in the passenger seat in his P2 car, just kind of watching what's happening in front of him as he's following Fouch in the Atlantic in front. But a great view of Yake, Upchurch, and Fowler mixing it up in front. And I think that's Yake now the third, almost to be fourth in that running order. As this lap started, he was the front of this group. He's about to be near the back as they all are getting through.
I got to give big props this weekend to our director, Zach. He has done a really great job of finding the battles that maybe you and I are blathering on and don't see the battle, but he's able to find those battles and get them on TV, and then we can look up and go, oh, wait, there's a battle, and we should start talking about it. So thank you to Zach. He's been our director for almost all of our Super Tours this year, and wonderful job by him. We can't thank him enough.
Makes our jobs a lot easier just to call what we see when he's the one showing the good stuff. That calling. Well, there's a little bit past. That's the Atlantic. That is Fouch trying to get through the inside of Fowler.
Yeah, in theory, that Atlantic should be faster than those cars, but a lot of seemingly parity between classes that really shouldn't be parodied.
Yeah, and then Donnellan's sort of another one. But again, the way this track is, there's no horsepower places to really lay it down. It's a lot of twisties, a continuous flow type of corners. And the lighter cars, FE2s, and as well as the FX Formula Mazdas, are all sort of playing to that strength, making the Atlantics work harder, the P2s work harder to get through them.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if you were at Road America or a longer track, this might be a very different scenario.
Yeah, you go to Coda and you've got that long straightaway. It's a different feel.
Yeah, that Coda straightaway is also a long straightaway uphill. So unlike Road America, where, well, they have one uphill straightaway in the front straight, but the back straight's downhill, and that can be some scary stuff going into turn 5. Coming up into our last 10 race laps of the weekend, and the hospitality here at Hallett has been fantastic. Everyone's been so good to us, and we want to thank everybody here from the local regions, as well as the national staff who's here with us every weekend, helping, giving us information to make you and me sound smarter than we are. We couldn't do it with all of them. Also, the corner workers who've been around here for the whole weekend, they've done a great job for us, and our EV crews to get us and stay as much green as possible. I think we've only had 2 full course yellows in all of the weekend. 2 race groups went, no, 3 now. 1 yesterday, 2 today, which is great. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're able to get these cars into safe places with the different cutouts and the wide open runoffs that we have here. So a lot of fun.
It really has been, and I just applaud these workers to be able to keep this all sorted out on track, and the extra effort they've been putting in this weekend, corner to corner, communicating with the drivers and really controlling this race. And I'm watching, we had seen, speaking of them, there was a waving yellow, I believe, coming out of 2. I had to come out of that 2-3 complex. Didn't catch what it was for, but I'm waiting to find the second place of FE2 in Upchurch. I don't see him yet, and I'm wondering he may be part of that waving yellow that was down there.
Well, and I'm looking at the speed chart here, and he has now dropped to 9th place. So it might be him. Yeah, now he's dropped to 10th place. So he's definitely off or he was off the racetrack, if he isn't still off the racetrack, and still dropping through the field. So now your FE2 race leader is Gray Fowler. Roy Hillenberg has moved into 2nd. Upchurch is still holding on to 3rd, but if he keeps dropping down, Steve Zerga, who's 4 laps down, might be able to still grab a podium spot here, depending as how long it takes, or if Justin Upchurch can get back into the hunt here.
Yeah, I think that maybe, I have a feeling he may have pulled off somewhere down there between turns 3 and 5. We know there's a couple exits down there. That's unfortunate for him, as he was doing so well in that FE2 battle. But that gives right now the lead, a pretty commanding one at that, to Gray Fowler in the FE2 cars. He's still running on the track with the Atlantic in front of him in Fouch and Donnell in there behind him. So they're still in a group, but each of those 3 separate cars are in 3 separate classes.
Right. So, and now I'm looking at it, and Steve Zerga was 4 laps down. You ask yourself, well, why would you go out and keep racing 4 laps down? Well, he's 4 laps down with 9 laps to go, and he is in 4th place. And it looks like the 3rd place car is off the track and not running. That's why you keep going when you're 4 laps down, because if this continues to play out, Steve Zerga is going to finish possibly on the podium here.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how that goes. I'm also seeing Donnell, and I'm wondering if he may, as the only P2 entry reaching past the halfway point, if he may have just pulled in, as he did not complete the lap. Everyone else kind of going around. The way he'd been managing the race, it kind of makes sense to just say, hey, I've qualified. I'm not out here to race or getting in anybody else's race, to go ahead and pull in.
Let's also keep an eye on Ashlyn Speed. She had that hiccup earlier, dropped way back. She is on it right now, folks, in 9th place, and she can still come up and grab the lead here. Not to grab, but grab a podium position. And she's being helped because we've got a full course yellow right now. I'm not sure why. Let me see if I can find out.
As they're looking for the leader, but yeah,
maybe they're trying to go pick up Justin Upchurch wherever he ended up.
Could be. But with about 7 laps to go, we're going to go full course yellow, probably giving us maybe 4, or if we're lucky, 5 laps of green remaining, depending on how long this takes.
All right, here they come.
Yes.
Pace cars off the track. We're going to go with a 4 laps to go here once they cross the line. A track this short, this is practically a green-white checker, Lefty.
Yes, it is just about, and I'm watching that battle in FA. That's the 2 red Atlantics behind, in front of them. That's going to be fun to watch there. Where is Fowler, Fouch, and Smith?
Oh, there's a spinner right out in front of traffic. Oh, that was so close.
Good little save. Oh, but up in front, what is going on there is the front Rivard is pulling away. Evans, Smith, Fouch, Fowler are all sort of bunched right now. That's not what Broch Evans wanted. Yeah, he looks like he has slipped behind now. Is that Smith or is that Fouch in front of him? Evans in the white Formula X, Formula Mazda.
Okay, we're back with 3.5 laps to go, and so much has happened, it's been hard to keep track of. That yellow car that went off in turn 1 has just gotten passed again. Probably taking a moment to collect themselves if they realize how close they were when they came back on the racetrack.
Yeah.
And a couple more cars looked like they're about to make the pass on that car as well.
All right, so with 3 laps to go when they come around, Rivard is extending the lead again. I think it's either Smith or Fouch to second. Evans, the FX leader, has moved back to third, but it might be Yake that's now moving up behind Evans for that FX battle. We'll see if that's the case once they come around timing and scoring. All right, so Moses Smith is the car you're seeing running second in the order. It's Evans third, Fouch, the other Atlantic, in fourth. And then you've got Fowler and Speed.
Ashland Speed made up 4 spots on the restart there to go from 4th place in FX to 2nd place in FX.
That's amazing, little bit of restart there for her. And Brad Yake, who had started second, we thought he was going to make a push to catch up to Evans. He's falling down the order quickly. He lost out in that whole mix.
Yeah.
But Ashland Speed's making up for it.
I'm pretty certain that was that yellow car that spun in turn 1.
The
Brad Yake car.
But what I did see was Moses Smith made a great restart. He still has Fouch back there trying to catch him, but he's got Evans, I think, still in between in that white Formula Mazda.
All right. I was just going to say, with 3 laps to go, I don't think that Ashland Speed has enough to be able to get around those 2 cars and get to Broch Evans here to vie for the win in FX. But what an impressive comeback from that situation earlier in the race to climb back into 2nd place.
Yeah, I agree there, but I'm kind of watching the rest of this group and seeing maybe Yake is on the recovery drive here through some of this field, trying to figure out who everybody is. Yeah, Yake has picked up a couple spots now, getting around Crabtree, Edwards, to now put himself 8th in the running order, but he's got to go at 5 seconds to get Ashland Speed, and there's somebody off at the exit of 1.
That's right, and I'm trying to see if that car's gotten back on the racetrack. Kind of tough to tell, but we will keep a close look at that as well. Now you've got a couple passes going here into turn 2. These drivers know that if they were going to get it done, now is the time they got to go to get it done.
Yeah, lap and a half to go. It is absolutely go time. Everyone's kind of getting mixed up in all these battles, but a lot of those in that group are all FX cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are all the same type of cars. So that's an all interclass battle, it looks like. If I got this right, that's Speed, McGahee, Yake, Crabtree is an FA car in there, and Edwards, another FX car. Then you got Addison and another FX car. So you got all these cars just bunched up, all within a couple of tenths of each other.
All right, the white flag is out for Paul Rivera's. 1 to go now as we get it done here in our final race of the weekend at Hallett. Rivera, Smith, Evans, and Fouch last time by. What's it going to be this time? We've got Rivera, Smith moves into 2nd, Broch Evans is 3rd, Scott Fouch is 4th, and Gray Fowler 5th. Overall, and Ashland Speed still holding on to 2nd place, but Brad Yake is on the move. Yake, Crabtree, and Roy Hillen all moving up through the order, but Brad Yake's going to make up 7 seconds in the last lap to catch Ashland Speed. I don't really think anybody can make that happen if there's no problems with that number 27 car.
No, I agree with you. He's going to have to, that something else has to happen for him to get there. He's got the 4th place runner of Crabtree right behind him, though, when they came across stripe. We'll see if that changes when they come by, but they pulled themselves ahead of the Hillenberg, Edwards, and McGahee battle behind them, that FE2 and a couple of FX cars there. So a lot of that still yet to be decided, but it looks like the front of each class is starting to settle in, with Rivaris, your race leader, getting close to seeing Checker to take this win.
Lots of Ashland Speed fans in the chat. Random X video actually predicted her moving up. Here comes your race winner. It's going to be Paul Rivaris. And we're going to get a whole bunch more here as they come across line. Everything seems to be pretty well shook up here.
And Broch Evans takes the win in FX. He was in between Smith and Fouch in the FA cars, and then it looks like Ray Fowler takes the win in FE2. So crazy race, but man, that was a lot of fun.
Yep, and Paul Crabtree was able to grab 4th place from Brad Yake. He's in an FA car. I'm sorry. He was able to take 7th place overall, but I thought for a second that was an FX car taking up to get 3rd place. But after all of that, Brad Yake has made himself back up to the podium, and a good recovery for him as well.
Yeah, and for Hillenberg to get their 2nd spot in FE2 as well, with all the action going on in the middle of all those crazy battles. So that in FE2, it's a Fowler and then Hillenberg 1-2.
All right, let's go through our finishing order for the final time this weekend. Your race winner and 1st place in Formula Atlantic is Paul Rivars. 2nd place in Atlantic is Moses Smith. And Scott Fouch will take the last step on the podium in Formula Atlantic. Let's move on to FX. Broch Evans, your race winner. 2nd place, Ashland Speed. And 3rd place is Brad Yake. Now to FE2, Gray Fowler, 13th place. Number 13. He is your winner of FE2. Next up, Roy Hillenberg will be 2nd. And 5 laps down is Justin Upchurch, but he's actually going to come in 3rd place, even though he had to sit out there for quite a few laps while I tried to get him freed from the curb there. Is that, and P2, don't forget Jack Donnellan. He is your race winner in P2.
Yeah.
Well, we ended on a high note here. A lot of fun. A couple of quick 4-course yellows here to bunch things up. Great job by the EV crews here to get things cleaned up as quick as possible so we can end this thing under green. Lefty, what a great weekend. Thank you for being here with me.
That was a lot of fun. This whole weekend was great. Hallett is just a fantastic circuit for racing. Beautiful track. Having Kent and Jesse joining us for a couple of their races this weekend was a lot of fun. Those guys did great. They could take our jobs. We're in trouble. But it was a lot of fun, Brian. I really enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to Thunder Hill in 2 weeks.
That's right. So for everyone who's watching at home, we're going to do this again at Thunder Hill. 3 days of racing. Here's something you guys should know. The racing for the Super Tour is on Friday and Saturday at Thunder Hill, with a special Western Shootout race on Sunday. And we're going to have 3 full days of race action from Thunder Hill. We're going to have all of the normal stuff that we do for the Super Tours on Friday and Saturday. And then we're also going to have the Western Shootout, which is going to be on a 5-mile track. Did you hear that, Lefty?
I did. All the track.
5 miles.
Going to be awesome. The full Thunder Hill we get to run.
Still trying to wrap myself. It's like going to Nürburgring or something. We're going to have a good time with that. So please join us for that. Get all the information from the SCCA official website, SCCA official YouTube channel. You can also find all of the links on the SCCA Facebook pages, and I also post them on several of the members' pages as well. But you should have no excuse to find us. But the best way to find us is to click subscribe and like. So, Lefty, any final thoughts?
I just had an absolute great time. This facility put on a wonderful show. The folks here in the Oklahoma region, boy, they just do a great job. This whole race, the stewards, the corner workers, and these drivers just look, they had a lot of fun. It doesn't get any better than this. And I appreciate all the folks who watched and gave us great comments because it helps us also get some content. That was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Formula X, 1st place finisher, sweeping the weekend, Broch Evans. 2nd place finisher, Ashland Speed. And your 3rd place finisher, Brad Yake.
Yay!
Come on, big round of applause.